burned my bridges long ago. I lost the woman I love the most. The pound signs blinded my eyes. Girl, do you remember me? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another live stream Tuesday, and I just about made it. I've been setting things up behind the scenes. Interestingly, I started getting ready earlier than I normally do tonight, and for some reason it's taken even longer than it normally does, but I guess that's just part of things moving along and having more messages to answer, all that kind of stuff, with the news that we have just passed 310,000 subscribers. And I lose track of the number, but it is 310 because I can remember. But let me get the thingy up on screen that pops up, and then we get the crowd going crazy in the background. So there we have it, confirmation, 310,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for subscribing, hitting that notification bell, all of that cool stuff. And I could actually hear the crowd there in the background. Normally I can't hear that, but I was having a bit of a problem with the sound while the first video was playing, so I was trying to organise that. I've got the air conditioning unit going, and of course that was all falling apart, so then I had to try and gaffer tape it all back together again. But we made it. So let's see who's in the live chat room tonight. We have oh, they've gone through too quickly. Okay, Bev, Anna, Ginny, Bernadine, 123 Rock, something. Okay, I'm gonna go a bit further down. We've got Terry, Laugh Out Loud, Can, Ronald, Bev, Tammy, Evran M, Evran, Bob's in there, Alison, Mary V. Hello guys, thank you for joining me on tonight's live stream. And I think half the problem is that I can't really see anything most of the time. I can just about see at the moment because I've been trying to organise my hair to stay out of my eye line. I do have a haircut tomorrow, so from tomorrow onwards I'll be able to actually see again, which will help. So that's the hair news out of the way. So let me get the names of my patrons up on screen because they make this all possible in the first place. So a huge thank you to these lovely people that go across the bottom of the screen throughout the live streams on a Tuesday and on a Saturday. You know who you are, and they make everything possible on the channel, where the live streams, the interview videos that we do. We had one with Taj recently, Taj Farrant. So yeah, check that out if you get a chance. But there's lots of interviews on the channel, as well as analysis videos, of course, and cover videos, my music videos. We started with Greed. That's one of my tracks from my album called Persistence. So thank you guys for requesting that over there, as well as requesting the cover videos for tonight, which, as you may or may not have noticed, it appeared after we started the live stream, and that's because I was typing that obviously doing everything very last minute, and that's between Miles Away and something else. Is it Don't Slow Down by Mr. Mister? I can't remember what the other option is because I only ever get to see the one that is winning, and at the moment it is Miles Away that is winning the vote. And let me just see if I can move this up to the top. It doesn't show me the other options, so I'm going to try to use my memory that it was Don't Slow Down, I think. So yes, either of those songs, either a bit of Mr. Mister or a bit of Winger, and make sure that you have your vote in that live chat room in order to see whichever song you want. That's going to be my version of it. Obviously, right, getting into things just before we get into donations that have come through on PayPal. As you guys know, you don't have to donate. Just watching is great. Maybe hitting the thumbs up and subscribing, that's great as well. And let's get the like or the likes goal up on screen and the likeometer up on screen to see how everything's going over there. We are aiming for 325 likes tonight, so it is a big target. Every single thumbs up will be required tonight, and we are currently at 149 likes. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet as you come through the door, that would be great. So I can see that Steve says silence is broken. That must be the other option for the cover video for tonight. So my memory wasn't working. I'm sure maybe Don't Slow Down was requested. I'm going to check that over on Patreon to see where I have got that from. Oh, and it was Connie B who requested Don't Slow Down. Let me just check that again, that I'm not... Oh no, silence is broken. Have I actually imagined this somewhere? It must have been requested somewhere for me to be thinking of it. Or maybe I'm not thinking of... I think there are too many comments for me to go through. But anyway, Barbara requested Don't Slow Down. So I did see it in the list there of the requests for tonight, but it just so happened that, yeah, Silence is Broken was requested as well, as I've just indicated. So yeah, take no notice of me. Just vote for whichever one of those two songs you want in the live chat room. It's at the top of that for the vote. So anyway, yeah, getting back to the donations, like I said, you don't have to donate, just watching is fantastic. But for those people that can't resist donating, between 35 and 45% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window. And if you do things through PayPal, then that's between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal, and you can find a link for that in the description below. But I think it's just important that you know where your money goes if you do indeed donate, but you don't have to. And on that topic, Shauna donated right at the end of the last live stream, so thank you for that. And it just came through after I'd finished, so it meant that obviously I couldn't address it live. So thank you, Shauna, for that £10 donation. And I'm just going to move on because there was another one that came through from Chris for £11.17. So thank you for that, Chris. And the message with that was, Phil, love the videos, just missed tonight's live feed. So yeah, this was, I think, a couple of hours after we'd finished going live on Saturday. So thank you for that, Chris. And Roseanne has donated £5 as well. Thank you for that. And the message is, hi Phil, if you had the time and opportunity to learn an instrument that you currently don't play, what instrument would you like to learn? And I'm not sure. I think when I got asked this before, which is probably years ago now, I think I said something like saxophone. Because it's something, yeah, that I've never even tried to play. Whereas, I mean, lots of other instruments you kind of have a go at, and it's something that you need a saxophone to play the saxophone. It's not something that somebody regularly has with them at the time and just say, oh, can I play you or try to play your saxophone? So yeah, that's something that, yeah, if I had the time, but if I do have any extra time, I just keep on playing either guitar or singing. And yeah, the other instruments, yeah, don't really get a look in. I think most of all just singing, because I've mentioned it before and I'll say it again, that learning to sing is difficult, and then just being able to hit notes consistently all the time, you've got to top up your muscle memory in order to do it. When you can't sing, you haven't kind of got natural talent or anything like that. You just got to keep on working at it. So certainly singing is the thing that I would say I focus on mostly, and then guitar practice after that if I do get a chance, because you know that's my first instrument, playing the guitar, so that's the first instrument that I go to if I do have any extra time. So thank you for that, Roseanne. And Nicole has donated £12.25, so thank you for that. And the message is, hello Phil, good health and many musical joys for you. Here in France, this month of August, the price of electricity increases by 10%, and in 6 months it increases again by 10%. It's getting hard. Is it the same in my dear England? Sweetness from France. So thank you for that, Nicole. And yes, I mean, it's the same here. The cost of living, as they say here in the UK, is on the rise, has been on the rise, and cost of electricity and gas has gone up ridiculously as well. I mean, it's now double expensive, I think, as it used to be last year. So yeah, unfortunately, everyone's feeling it at the moment, just paying bills, trying to pay bills, and everyone, especially during the winter time, are going to be struggling. They did last winter, and this winter it's going to be a case of, for many people, choosing between either heating or eating food. So that's how crazy the prices have got. And what I don't understand is how the electricity and the gas companies have made record profits. And I think I heard one of the managing directors takes home a salary of 4 million and got a 1 million pound bonus. A bonus. So I'm thinking, well, what can he be doing every day working that's more difficult than other people that are just struggling to buy food? Because I would hazard a guess that it's not as difficult as working for the NHS, for example, for nurses and surgeons and everybody, and GPs who you're getting paid very little money and can't afford food, but they're working all the hours under the sun. So yes, it's a shame, but I don't understand how in a system, and obviously this is, we're not going to get into politics, I don't understand how the system can be that flawed that people can't afford to buy food. And the reason they can't afford to buy food is because they have to pay so much for gas and electricity to keep their houses warm. But then the companies that supply that are making record profits. You think, well, something's gone wrong there. The company should be just breaking even, or just making enough profit to maintain what they're doing, let alone thinking, oh, we're doing so well, I'm going to give myself £1 million. That's like winning the lottery. I'm going to give myself that bonus because I own the company. And everyone else, rather than giving that to people to help them buy food, that the whole system is absolutely ridiculous. But that's the world we live in, and is too far gone now, unfortunately, in the whole scheme of things, to change it. For anybody to say, right, we need to change this because it's ridiculous that the whole country can be struggling so much, and that people can be making so much money, individuals, they're benefiting from people's misfortune and not being able to afford food. So yeah, absolutely crazy. But anyway, yes, so in a word, it is the same here in the UK. That's the problem. Oh, I tell you what, actually, I'll just say it quickly. I can't remember the guy's name, but I saw a video on YouTube and it's over in the USA, this guy who's head of climate or something like that said about not having a private jet. he said we do not have a private jet, and it would be stupid for me to say that, or for people to say that I use a private jet. And then the guy says, what about the private jet that your wife owns? And he said, oh no, I meant that I don't have one, but yeah, my wife has one. But then they sold it because it was, I think, an article about hypocrisy or something that was pointed at this particular person, and like the week after that or the day after that, they then sold their private jet. And he's supposed to be talking about getting everyone to use less petrol, drive less, all this kind of thing, and then he was using a private jet. So it seems to be broken everywhere, the whole government thing, and that's why we don't talk about it, because it would just be too depressing, for one thing. But thank you, Nicole, for that. Roderick has donated £3 as well. Thank you for that, Roderick. And that is a straight up donation. Tammy has donated £20 as well. Thank you for that, Tammy. The message is, hi Phil, if something is music to your ears, what kind of a thing is it? Now that almost sounds like a riddle or something, like the Riddler from Batman. If something is music to your ears, what kind of a thing is it? And I don't really know the answer to that. I'm trying to think of something, probably a song or something from my childhood that I haven't heard in many, many years, and it surprises you, so I guess that's music to my ears. Also, something that reminds me of being a kid, and maybe memories that I don't have access to until I hear that particular thing, is like a computer game theme. So when I was a kid, we had that, I've mentioned this before, we had the two lines on the other side of the screen, and you had to stop the ball from going, or it's like a square, but it's supposed to be a ball. You had to stop it from going past your side of the screen, and you plugged it into the TV and had a little switch so you could go from TV to now playing this game. So we had that then progressed to now having a Sega Master System, and they were always described as having bits. So then I think that was like 8-bit maybe, and then it moved on to the Sega Mega Drive, which was 16 bits. And when we think about nowadays of having like gigabytes and megabytes and bits, how many bits make up a megabyte? I can't remember. It might be 1,000 bits to a megabyte. So anyway, back in the day, so think of 1 megabyte. That is tiny in today's technology, and you might have songs that, for example, are 3 or 4 megabytes. A song is 3 or 4 megabytes, and back in the day, a Sega Mega Drive had 16 bits, which is like what, 16 1,000th, is it, of a megabyte? Anyway, trying to obviously explain it's going to be very difficult, but that's tiny, 16 bits. But that's what they said, and it actually said 16 bits of power, the Sega Mega Drive. So that was the system that then followed on from the Master System. So we had that computer, and those computer games had particular themes, and because it was only 16 bits, the music had to be really basic, because now, like, a fully produced track is 3 or 4 megabytes, but you only had 16 bits. So it was often just really badly compressed computer sounds, but they were quite good tunes, like Sonic the Hedgehog and Alex Kidd. They had these particular tunes that went with them. So when I hear those, like the Sonic the Hedgehog theme, for example, that's music to my ears, because technically it is music, but just the sound of it being so vintage and being 16-bit was just great. So, Liz says 1 byte equals 8 bits. So does that make it even smaller than I thought it was? So we had 16 bits of power. So it's just ridiculously small. But anyway, there we go. That was music to my ears when I heard themes, or if I hear any theme, really. Like when I got the PlayStation 1, which is another huge leap, because that now took like a disc that you put in rather than a cartridge. So that was great, and with that particular system, we started to get probably closer to what we see now as platform games. But anything that I had on there, like the Sega Mega Drive, we had Aladdin, which had its own theme, and I mean, I even can hear the theme now in my head from the level, and it went do 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 da 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 da. So it's kind of playing as you're running across the screen. But this is it. I don't know how old I must have been when I was playing that, but these things that get stuck in your head, so when you hear it again, you get transported back to that time of being a kid. And I mean, it's amazing. It's one of those Christmas presents that obviously is for me and my sister, and it's amazing. And then I played PGA Golf Tour on it. And I mean, it was so new, it was so amazing that I can remember when I got the PGA Tour golf game, I used to set my alarm to get up early to play this computer game, because computer games are so new. It is like amazing to have this thing on the screen, having just played the game where you moved the things at either side of the screen. Now you could control a person hitting a golf ball or trying to get it yeah, in the hole. And I did get a hole in one on that game, which I remember, which was amazing. And you could even save the replays. So yeah, it obviously had like the Tiger Woods and all those kinds of players didn't exist yet. So yeah, it had a very, very old players, but the players that were around at that particular time. But I didn't really keep a track of, you know, who was who. I want to say Brad Faxon. Was he a player? I can't remember. That's just something that I remember on the game. Maybe one of those players. So, yeah, that was definitely back in the day. But leading myself down an avenue here of games. But thank you for that, Tammy. And Steve has donated £5 as well. Thank you for that, Steve. The message is, why do most of the greatest bass players use their fingers instead of a pick most of the time? So thank you for that, Steve. And I mean, I think this just generally goes back to when you're learning to play an instrument. If you do choose to play bass when you're young, generally you'll be playing with your fingers, and that's how people will be taught to play the bass. And you know, generally if you go to a bass teacher, they're not going to be using a pick to teach you, even though you could do that. But playing with the fingers is just traditionally, you know, what's happened. And you know, obviously it gives you access to, you know, playing with the pick if you want it, but playing with the fingers generally is going to be what you use when you've learned to play that as your main instrument. When you play guitar, this is why a lot of guitarists who then play bass play with the pick, because they've learned to play the guitar with a pick. And I'm talking about electric guitar here and playing lead guitar. If they've played, you know, classical guitar, for example, that is something that they'll be using their right hand and playing fingerstyle. So they'll still have that muscle memory to use the fingers. So anyway, if you're playing guitar and then you go to play bass, then generally you'll use a pick. If you do play fingerstyle, then you can use your fingers on bass as well. But yeah, I mean, that's how I see it. The great bass players, they are great because it is an instrument that they're focused on, and they haven't played guitar for like 10 years and then thought, oh, shall I, you know, have a go at, you know, doing bass now, you know, is their main instrument. So that's yeah, what tends to happen. But you know, the great thing about playing with fingers is that, you know, you get access. You don't really have to worry about moving your pick up and down, even though you can do alternate picking, and those techniques will cross over from playing the guitar. And once you play the guitar, then obviously you can play bass because it's tuned the same way, so you know where all the notes are. But when you're playing with fingers, it means that you don't have to worry about the movement of your pick, because your fingers can just alternate one to the next. So yeah, if you keep it organized, then you can play, you know, faster passages if you want to, slap bass as well, you can do all that kind of stuff. So yeah, lots of techniques if you are to work at playing bass. But that's what I would say, that the great players are great because they've been playing a very long time, and they most likely started to play with their fingers because that's just how people are taught. But how other players, if they're watching great players who are playing with their fingers, they'll play with their fingers because they're watching the player that's inspiring them and influencing them. So they'll just pick up that technique even if they're not having lessons. So thank you for that, Steve. And Debbie has donated £10. Thank you for that, Debbie. The message is, hi Phil, I so loved going back in time with the Boswell Sisters analysis. Congrats on hitting 310,000 subscribers. You are the best. Love you, Debbie. So thank you for that, Debbie. And yeah, we've taken a bit of a trip back in time at the moment on the channel. We've been looking at music from, I mean, technically the 20s. If we're kind of going all the way back to, yeah, Boswell Sisters, followed by the Andrews Sisters, the Lennon Sisters. Lots of sisters. But yeah, going through from what's that, the 30s, into 30s, kind of 40s, 50s, 60s. We looked at the Bee Gees as well, so brothers, not sisters anymore. So yeah, we've been looking at that period of groups of singers that have been related. So yeah, it's been an interesting diversion on the channel, but that's what tends to happen sometimes. We go through a chunk of videos that were requested about particular family bands and groups. So yeah, it's been great to jump into that. But thank you for that, Debbie. And Orlando has donated £6. Thank you for that, Orlando. And the message is, congratulations on 310,000 subscribers, despite the likes, with some thumbs up. So great idea there. And maybe we can get a spike of the likes going on. We're at 205 at the moment, which means we're looking for 120 more thumbs up before the end of the live stream in order to have a Phil Jam tonight. And that's going to be Phil Jam number 29 on the list. So we are making our way through them. And just when we say spike the likes, let's have a plug of the mug. And there we have it. If you want to get your hands on any of the merchandise, then you can click on the tray underneath this video, if indeed there is a tray under this video. If not, never fear, there's a link in the description below to the spring.com store, so you guys can click on that and it'll take you through to where you need to go for t-shirts and hats, or yeah, bucket hats, but caps, tumblers, yeah, mugs, I've already said that, all that stuff, hoodies, zipped hoodies. So head over there for any of the merchandise. Oh, and there's a new mug as well that's just recently been released, and that's the Phil Toon mug with my cartoon version of myself on it. So you can check that out if you want to, and that's one of those that has been just very recently released and featured in some of the pictures that we've shown on the live streams. And if you want to get any of your pictures on the live streams, you might be modeling a hat or a hoodie or a mug, then you can head over to the Wings of Pegasus supporters group over on Facebook and just join in with that group, and that's where I get linked to the pictures by Laura. So thank you, Laura, for linking me to those. And we do have a few pictures to take a look at tonight, but we also have a few more donations that I can see have happened in the super chat window, and there seems to be quite a lot of pictures going on here. Marsha has donated $50, so thank you for that, Marsha. And the message is, don't cut the hair too short, laugh out loud. So thank you for that. And I don't tend to have it cut too short. I just get this fringe from where it is at the moment, where if I push it down, it's down to here. I get it back to where I can actually see kind of eyebrow level, maybe a little bit higher, but not too high. This is the problem as well. As people with long hair will know, when you wash it and then dry it, or especially my hair because it's a bit curly and it curls all over the place, especially when it's longer, it just decides it wants to curl in all kinds of directions. But when I wash it and then dry it, it then goes to like, what, 3/4 the length that it is when I have it cut, when it's wet. So yeah, it all kind of jumps up and can tend to go outwards as well. So that's just part of the deal, unfortunately, with my hair. So yeah, I won't be cutting it too short, just my normal kind of cut that I have. But this is another thing that I was thinking when people say about my hair in particular videos and it looking different in particular videos from other videos. There has been at some point not only a change of this shampoo that then got discontinued that I used to use, but I've changed hairdresser as well. And this is the thing about hairdressers, that I think they do it in their own style or they cut it in a particular way. So yeah, I had to change hairdressers from my very early videos. That would have been my hair being done by somebody else. So there you go. So if it does look different from one video to the next, it's probably because I changed my hairdresser. So there you go. But I just have the normal cut now, which seems to work. And then the problem is just booking in a haircut and being quite busy doing everything. I then have to make sure that I can do what I need to do, because a haircut obviously takes, you know, an hour or two out of my normal daily schedule. So I have to try and reorganize things that I would be doing for that 1 or 2 hours, and then have a haircut and then try and catch up with the other stuff. So yeah, it's all a bit full on. But anyway, thank you for that, Marsha. And the message, the message from Guy Lane does say goal. I don't think it has any significance or reference to the likes goal, because that's 224, so 101 we need more to hit the goal. But thank you for that donation. And yeah, it's the guy sliding on his knees with goal, which reminds me that the England women's football team won today, I think 6-1. It might be 7-1, but I'm going to say 6-1, and it means that we're through now to the last 16, I believe. Is it the last 16 of the World Cup? I think that's now what it goes down to. I can't remember the numbers. I think in the European or the Euros, it goes down to then the quarterfinals after the group stage. I think in the World Cup, it's now down to the last 16. But anyway, yeah, the England women's team have made it. So congratulations to them, which is great. And the next game, I'm not sure when that is. I'll have to look it up to make sure that I set it to record, because that's generally what I do, because it's on at a time that I can't usually watch it, because it's very early in the morning for normal people. But considering that I go to bed at about 5:30 or 6 in the morning, it means that when people are getting up early in the morning, at 7:30 or 8, that's when the football's on. But for me, I've only just gone to bed, so I can't wake up, or unless I just do an all-nighter to watch the football. But I'm not going to do that, so I just record it and then watch it as and when I do get time to see it. But I did see that the score was... Oh, and this is another thing that I saw, because I used to be into football a lot. I say I used to be into football a lot. I used to play a lot of football at quite a high standard, and I was a qualified referee. So it means that I took the exam, did all of that, and refereed football matches myself in my 20s, possibly. I'm trying to think of when that would have been. I think it was it after university or before university when I was doing personal training? I can't remember. No, I was actually playing when I was personal training, so it must have been after university. Anyway, I was a qualified referee, and it means that I know the rules, and I do keep up with the rules. And there's a decision in the game today where the officials don't know the offside rule, and it was a disallowed goal for England because one of our players, called James, she scored a goal, and one of our other players called Bronze was in an offside position, but she wasn't interfering with the play, i.e. she wasn't in the goalkeeper's eye line, and she was walking out. And actually they call this first phase, which means that it was crossed in, and Lucy, Bronze, wasn't interfering with play. The ball then got cleared, and James then got the ball, cut inside, shot and scored. And the referee then went to the screen. But offside is cut and dry. You're either offside or you're not. So she was probably being asked whether Lucy Bronze was interfering or not, but she wasn't interfering. And anyway, even if she was, it was the second phase. It was the first phase that she wasn't interfering with anyway. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is the problem that I saw in the Women's Euros. The linesman, or the lineswoman, or the assistant referee, as they're called officially, they used to be called linesman, but that all changed. She gave an offside from a throw-in, which isn't part of the rules. So, yes, it's a big question mark over the women's game that the referees... You never get that in the men's game, that they literally don't know the rule that they're implying, especially when you go to VAR, because that's something that you're looking at on TV to make sure that you've made the right decision. And they've looked at it on TV and still come up with a law that doesn't exist. So there you go. It was just interesting to see that, especially when you actually know the rules. I think actually a lot of ex-players and pundits don't actually know the rules, so they just kind of accept what's going on and say, oh, well, she must... But even then, yes, some of the commentators said, oh, I don't understand because she's not interfering, so I don't know how that's offside. But obviously something's happened that means it must be offside. But no, it was incorrect. And yeah, this is the thing. Also, interpretations of laws, that's something that referees get wrong as well. And yeah, it would be interesting to be on the panel to then explain to not only the pundits but the referees how they've got it wrong, because they're making the decisions themselves, so they obviously don't understand the laws. Anyway, yeah, interesting stuff. But back to the donations, because Guylane has donated $10 again, and now it's the guy saying thank you. So thank you for that. And scrolling down, oh look, well, we've had Guylane doing another one with the person dancing around for $5, so thank you for that. And then another one for $20 with the person dancing around saying you are amazing, thank you for that. And another one underneath of the cat, I think it's a cat, just smiling for $3. So thank you for that again. And then it's Stardust Unicorn, who has donated $7.99. So thank you for that, Stardust Unicorn. Support band to Wings of Pegasus. As I always say, I haven't said it in a while, but as I always used to say and continue to say. So David has donated $2 as well. Thank you for that, David. The message is, hi Phil, do you own a home stereo system? Well, I do own a Bluetooth speaker system that I've got that's just a general thing. If there's a particular song that I feel like listening to, then I just load it up on my phone and put it through Bluetooth. But the speakers that I have here, obviously this is my studio room, so it means that I've got reference speakers which are used for recording, production, all that kind of stuff. They're not like normal speakers. They just give like a flat response. Their EQ is just absolutely flat, so you hear sounds as they are. So when you're producing, obviously it helps a lot with that. When I say the EQ is flat, what I mean is on some stereo systems they will have a built-in EQ curve to them, so you'll listen to it and sometimes you even get an option to have like rock or jazz or some kind of default preset that gives it or cinema gives it a preset sound where the EQ curve has been affected. So for example, it's been edited to sound more bassy. For cinema, it means that the bass is now accentuated, and they've boosted the bass so that when you're watching like a movie that's got explosions and all that kind of stuff and it's more dramatic, so they boost parts of the EQ curve, and that'll be the bass in order to boost that up to make movies sound just more dramatic when you're hearing those bass frequencies. But reference speakers don't have any of that. You just hear the noise, the sound as it is. So then at least when you're editing, you're not, for example, not trying to get rid of the bass because the bass is too heavy and you think, oh, let me just take out a bit of that bass frequency at the bottom end. But that could be the speakers that are giving you that, and it doesn't actually exist on the recording you're listening to. So it's a bit complicated. But anyway, I've got reference speakers here. I've got a subwoofer under the desk as well for the bass frequencies and all of that bottom end that you would get from movies and all the rumbles and things. That's the extreme low end. That's where all of that happens. But generally, when you're producing and when I'm producing, anything at that extreme low end, you don't have that kind of stuff in songs, and if anything, it'll muddy up your mix. So you want to get rid of that kind of very low frequency sound and put in a high pass filter, which is what it's called. So anyway, technically it means that I've got a stereo system for upstairs and just a Bluetooth one for downstairs. So that's how I roll on that side of things. So thank you for that, David. But it isn't a fancy stereo system because I've got this system here. If I really want to listen to a song, generally in detail, I'll listen to it here because it means that I can then appreciate the production as it is, and it isn't edited through a particular stereo system. Not to say that you can't get stereo systems that do have a flat response, and then you can decide how you want things to sound and come up with your own presets, but I haven't done that. So thank you for that, David. And Want to Know has donated $60, so thank you very much for that kind donation. And the message is, love your videos and hair. Merrily from Maine, US. So thank you for that donation. All of the donations in the super chat window is very much appreciated. And if you do accidentally type in too much, or you just type in the wrong number, just let me know and we can sort that out after the live stream. It's no problem at all, and reversing it is quite a simple process. So thank you guys for those donations, and I'm just quickly going to jump into the PayPal window because Karen's donated £3.74 in there, so thank you for that, Karen. And the message is, hi Phil, congratulations on hitting 310,000 subscribers. Eddie Trunk said, Black Sabbath invented heavy metal in my opinion. What's your take on this? Thanks for all you do and for being you. Cheers, Karen. So thank you for that. And I mean, yeah, it's difficult because when you're talking about heavy metal, I think that Black Sabbath were probably at the forefront of pushing the sound in that direction. And especially when you're thinking about the stage performances and Ozzy Osbourne and getting that shock rock type thing that Alice Cooper as well was a huge part of that. Because when you're talking about how early that all started, we're talking about technically very late 60s, early 70s in terms of now pushing the sound. In the 70s now getting towards that heavier sound, and having heavy metal as I'm not sure that really back in those days people were saying, oh, yeah, obviously because it was just happening, you couldn't have people saying, oh, this is heavy metal. It was just like a heavy sound. And you had your classic rock, you even had kind of starting to push the sound, and especially in the late 60s, actually a lot of those bands in the British invasion were trying to get a distorted sound on their amps by either cutting the cones on their amps in order to get it to sound a little bit more aggressive and to have more distortion. So that's what I mean about starting in the late 60s, and then Alice Cooper coming along with shock rock, which then pushed it into not only a heavier sound but having something visually that was totally different. It wasn't like a boy band. When I say a boy band, I actually mean a band full of young musicians who are men. That's just kind of the term, we're calling them a boy band. But then that term took on a new meaning in I think the 90s, where boy bands were seen as just singers, and the whole meaning got lost of actually being a band, because a boy band back in the day, that's why it was called that, because you played instruments, it wasn't just singing. So the meaning of that all got a bit misconstrued, and then people called just singers boy bands. But anyway, getting back into the sound, how it progressed, I'd say that Black Sabbath was certainly one of those bands that's at the forefront of now changing not only what it sounded like, but what it was as a performance, as an art form, to now start putting things into a live performance that were more shocking. And that's certainly something that Ozzy Osbourne was doing, and it was very difficult as well with his personality to place him, because a lot of people, when they're interviewed, they get interviewed and you can kind of get their personality. But this is the great thing about having those shock rock tactics of and I know that there's all reported about biting their head off a bat and all that kind of stuff. Then Alice Cooper having blood being thrown around on stage and all that stuff, which of course when you think of it now, everybody's seen everything, but for at the time that was like massively shocking to see that kind of thing live. So it really pushed the stage show into a totally different area, but pairing that with a really heavy sound, really heavy riffs, but still having vocal melody in there, and harmonies as well. It was still musical, which was great about the sound when it first came along. So I know that a lot of people now maybe see heavy metal as maybe not even singing, but it's kind of screaming and all that kind of stuff. But if you are into heavy metal, then you know that it's actually got melody in there. It's got singing. And you talk about Dio, for example, another one of those guys that had that heavy metal sound, but was just a great singer and had a lot of classical singing technique in his voice. And again, putting on the stage show, almost turning the stage into a theatre stage, but having a really heavy sound and especially a really heavy vocal. And belting and chest voice, all that kind of stuff, but we're actually with classical technique. That was the great thing about it. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, these kind of artists, obviously, you guys know the names, but they were huge for taking it in that direction. So anyway, thank you for that, Karen. And yes, thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up. We're going to need a bit of a spike of the lights going on to get to our target before the end of the live stream, because we're aiming for 325 likes tonight. So if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be great. We have 256 likes at the moment. So yeah, great time to hit that thumbs up. And if we do hit the thumbs up goal, the likes goal, it means that we'll be having a Phil Jam at the end of tonight's live stream, and that'll be number 29 for those of you keeping count. Is at the top of the screen, on the top right of the screen. So let's jump into, I tell you what, it's already gone 10 to midnight here in the UK, so we will end the poll for tonight's cover video. I'm just waiting for confirmation to see how that comes through and which has won. It is Miles Away with 56% of the vote for tonight. So it was Silence is Broken, the other option, but Miles Away is the winner for tonight. So we're going to be jumping into a little bit of Winger. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll catch you guys after it once I've found where the button is, because this is something that, this is why, and now it all makes sense, why the Mr. track, Don't Slow Down, is in the wrong place. It's where Miles Away should be, but now I've found where Miles Away is because it's in the wrong place. It's been changed with the Mr. tune. So I'm going to click on this. Hopefully it's going to be the right video. Fingers crossed. And I'll see you guys after. Rock! Okay, so quick introduction to this next video. This is more of a tribute video to Kip Winger, as I've been to see Kip in London and with his band Winger numerous times, and once I even went to France just to watch Winger. So this is my tribute, and it's me playing and singing Miles Away, and I hope you like it. See you later. Rock!
So this is love, or so you tell me, as you're walking out the door. Months go by and I know for certain it's not the love I'm looking for. Sometimes, just for a moment, I reach out and hope you're still there. Miles away, no, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away, nothing left but what we had. Just when I needed you most, you were miles away. It's hard to tell what you're going through. You kept your feelings locked inside of you. Open your heart and chances are what you're feeling, I'm feeling too. If only just for a moment, hold on to the dreams that we had. Miles away, no, you're never turning back. I just can't wait anymore. Miles away, nothing left but what we had. Just when I needed you most.
And there we have it. That was my version of the Winger Classic. It is a classic for Winger fans, miles away. So thank you guys for voting for that one. And yes, that was a video that my hair would have been cut by my old hairdresser, or at least another hairdresser. So yeah, it's just different style of hair for a different hairdresser. It's always the problem that if you try to ask a hairdresser to copy someone else's hairdressing and they don't really know how to do it, then you could end up with an absolute mess, and I could end up with an absolute mess. So I'm just going to stick with the standard cut that I get, because yeah, I can deal with that. Just cut the fringe a little bit and it'll all be fine. Anyway, there has been another donation in the PayPal window, so thank you guys for these donations. This has come in from Mary, and it's £5.23. So thank you for that, Mary, and that is a straight up donation. Now, the other thing is we are going to need one hell of a spike of the likes going on to get ourselves up to 325. We are at 272 at the moment, which means we're looking for 53. Is that? I'm not sure if that is correct. It might be correct. Is that now 51? So quite a lot of likes we're looking for in order to get to the Phil Jam number of 325. So if you haven't hit that thumbs up yet, that would be great if you could hit that like button, because it means that we'll have a Phil Jam. But if not, then we'll just roll it over to the next live stream. And I always try and set the likes goal to be a bit of a challenge, so this is going to be a bit of a challenge for tonight. And we have had a little bit of a spike there going on, so thank you guys in that live chat room. And yes, 281 now. We are getting there slowly but surely. But will we make it in time? We've probably got 17 minutes, something like that. So the clock is ticking on those likes. So yeah, hit that thumbs up. If you are watching in the future as well, of course, you can hit that thumbs up. If you're watching on catch up, every single thumbs up does count and really does help this channel to get out there and just to grow, as well as getting these live streams out there. So thank you guys for doing that and for leaving comments on the analysis videos, because yeah, it's great to interact with you guys in the comment section as well as in a live setting on these live streams. So thank you guys for joining me on a Saturday night and a Tuesday night. Right, we will jump into a riff of the week. We haven't done one of those in a few live streams, so I'm now going to be looking at, as well as asking for people to hit the thumbs up, I'm going to be looking in that live chat room to see if you guys can give me a number between 1 and 100, and we'll see if we've had that particular riff or not. I have the updated list here from Laura, so thank you, Laura, for sending this my way. So yeah, numbers between 1 and 100, please, people, in that live chat room. We'll do a riff of the week, and then I must not forget that we've got pictures to look at in Picture Corner, so then we'll jump into that. And don't let me forget that. Maybe you guys can remind me if I do forget, so that we look at the pictures before the end of the live stream. But let's have a look in that live chat room. We have got numbers going on, and Laurie says 88. Is that a lucky number or not? No, we've had number 88. So let's look down the list. Bonnie Sue says 55. Let's have a look down the list. We've had 55. 77 from Walter. We've had 77. Okay. David M, 73. We have not had number 73. So I'm going to have to... Actually, because this is just a spur of the moment thing, I'm going to have to actually go over to YouTube and make sure that I can find the video. Riff of the week 73, was it? 73. Click on that. Click on that. Right, I think it's ready to go. I can't really hear. I might not be able to hear the riff myself, but I'm going to be having a listen to this afterwards, and then have to tell if it's the right riff or not. So let's have a listen to this. And let me get it on screen so you guys can see it. I tell you what, we'll do the official thing of getting the background up on screen and then showing the screen capture. 300 likes, by the way, I've just noticed that. So thank you guys for hitting that thumbs up. 25 more people, can we do it? Who knows? But let's have a listen to this. And what I'm looking for is the name of the song that this riff comes from. You can name the band as well if you want to, but just having a listen to the riff and saying the band, we need the name of the song. So song is most important. Let's have a listen. And there we have it. So I'm looking into the live chat room to see who's going to get this first. And this is the thing about the live chat room. Everybody's order of comments are different. So whatever you see, whatever the order is, it can be in a different order per screen. So I'm just going to go by what I can see on screen, which at the moment I can't see any guesses coming through, and maybe it's because everybody's listening to the riff to try and figure out what it is. And I did write it down as an intermediate riff, which means it's not how difficult it is to play or anything like that. It's how well I think people know the riff. I think it's one of those that a lot of people might not know. And why is the... I might even have to refresh my screen. It looks like the comments aren't going at all unless everyone's left, but it doesn't look like everybody's left. So I tell you what, let me do a refresh. But if I get a refresh going on here, it means that I'm hang on, let's see what's going on here. Yeah, it's still stuck at the moment, not seeing any comments coming through. And this has made a bit of a mockery of the riff of the week, because we can't see, or I can't see any comments going through. So I don't know why that's happened. It stopped. The last one I can see is Anna saying pom-poms. Come on and be like glam. Spike the likes and we have a jam. Which is great. A little rhyme going on there. But yeah, for some reason I'm not getting any comments coming through. And I'm going to just do another refresh of my screen. This is obviously something that's wrong with YouTube, because everything else is working. I'm getting all the other bits of data on the screen. Excellent connection. I can even see myself talking in the past and moving around. So I know that we're still live, we're still going out. But it's, the comment section has totally frozen. And let me do a third refresh to see if it suddenly comes back. And no, it's still stuck. So this is, unfortunately, tonight's gremlin show that they've decided to pop up now. And I can't see any comments going through. I don't know if anybody else can see any comments. If there are comments going through, I can't see them. And I don't know whether anybody else can see any comments going through, whether it's just YouTube, maybe their server's broken, but I'm still live. I know that I'm still live. So, and if we look at the lycometer, I'm pretty sure the lycometer's still going through, so that people, we're up to 309 now. I'm going to keep an eye on the lycometer to see if it changes, which means that, oh no, hang on. The lycometer might be stuck as well. It looks like everything on screen is stuck apart from me doing this, and it still says I'm live, so it looks like there's nothing going on, but I'm going to assume that everyone can still see me and hear me and potentially just live stream to nobody. But I can see the pictures, so thank you to those of you that are clicking the little pictures, because they're going through on the screen. But yeah, I've got no way of seeing. I tell you what, will I be able to go to my own channel or pretend that I'm not my own channel and tune in to Wings of Pegasus live stream? Let me see if I can do that. I'm going to click on that, and let me scroll down here, click on videos. Oh, because I'm the owner obviously of the channel, I won't be able to access my own live stream. There's got to be a way for me to access my own live stream on, maybe if I go on my phone, let me see if I can do it like this and go to YouTube, and I still know that it says excellent connection, the data's going through. So yeah, it says Wings of Pegasus alive. So let me and yeah, it's a new pinned chat. Great. Skip that. Okay. Aha, there we go. Right, let me pause that. I can see testing stuck. Okay, Deborah, Thomas, right, I can see them coming through. Oh, and it's back. It's working. So does that mean that everybody had the same problem? Yeah, comments are raised. Yeah, so that's just a bit of a weird problem with YouTube, that everybody had the same situation. That maybe they saw comments, but nobody could see comments. So I'm now going to scroll through to see who got the riff of the week. Right, going through here and coming through Totoro Porco. Let me keep going down here. I haven't seen any guesses now. Maybe people weren't writing because nobody's comments were working. Coming through. Still comments are going through. Ginny said comments are raised. Corey said what? Billy said you broke through. Oh, that must be Maria. Right, testing. We're getting lots of comments of people that, yeah, obviously writing comments and they weren't working. So I'm going to be looking for guess on the riff. I saw one come through from Cindy. Full for your loving Whitesnake. So Whitesnake with the band, of course. So yes, well done, Cindy. And Karen says the live stream was stuck. Phil. Oh, so maybe I was frozen on screen as well, but it looked like everything was going through, or at least everything I was seeing was going through on YouTube. So yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. Oh, Lucy donated $4.99. Thank you for that, Lucy, and said number 66. The chat is not working for me either. So we had just an outage on all comments. That's the first time that's ever happened. So it must have been a YouTube-wide problem. But yes, so yeah, well done, Cindy, for getting the riff. And I think, yeah, everyone's just going to be saying we're back, and not necessarily guessing the riff. So yeah, that was something that put us off a little bit, but it is one of those riffs that I think was a little bit more difficult to guess. And Irma said Whitesnake, so yes, right band, but yeah, we need the song if possible. And let me have a look. I think it said Ginny says Adre guest. Does that mean Andre guest? So yeah, well, this is the problem, that yeah, some comments maybe showed up for some people and they weren't coming through to me. So yeah, the first one that I saw was Cindy on my screen. But yeah, well done to Cindy. And David says smoke on the water. So almost. Just scrolling down. And so maybe some people saw the riff and some people didn't see the riff. Oh, anyway, let me get into Picture Corner. So we'll just draw a line under the riff of the week for tonight. Just bad timing with the whole YouTube fallout that happened. But let's jump into Picture Corner. And let me go to where I need to go in order to find the pictures. Right, first of all, we have Dude. And this is Mary's Dude, who's modelling the Wings of Pegasus hoodie. So thank you, Mary, for sending in this picture of Dude. And I did say in a message that I thought this might be a reference to The Big Lebowski, the movie, but I think Mary replied. I only saw the front, the top section of her reply, which is the the first few message words, and I think she was saying something like she didn't get the reference, or maybe she hadn't seen the movie. I don't know. I'm going to check the message after this live stream, as I always do. But thank you, Mary, for uploading that picture of Dude, looking very comfy actually in the Woods Pegasus hoodie. And we're a bit of an animal theme going on tonight in Picture Corner, because this is Barbara's cat, and I don't have the name of Barbara's cat, but it looks like he/she is having a bit of a drink from the Phil 2 mug. So thank you for uploading that one, Barbara. And last but by no means least, we have Dawn, who is modelling, but also kind of modelling in a real modelling way, but she's got the glow-in-the-dark tumbler. So thank you for uploading this one, Dawn, as well. And this was from GalaxyCon, so that was included in the message or in the link that I got from Laura. So thank you for that, Laura, and thank you, Dawn, Barbara, Mary, for uploading your pictures. It is much appreciated. And as I said before, if you guys want to upload any pictures, just get involved with the Wings of Pegasus supporters group page over on Facebook. You can upload your picture there, and then I will get linked to them. So yes, thank you guys for doing that. Now, it's 12 minutes past midnight, and I mean, we should be calling things to a close now, really, but it looks like we're going to be close to hitting the likes goal. I mean, we need 2 more people to hit the thumbs up to have the Phil Jam. And talking about the Phil Jam, let me see how long the Phil Jam actually is. Which number is it? Number 29, and it's 9 minutes and 12 seconds. Okay, right, so we probably won't play along to all of it, because that will mean we'll be pretty much finishing at like midnight here in the UK, and I still have lots of things to do before I go to bed, including trying to do things that I'm going to try and do tomorrow, or were due to do tomorrow, but I've got to do them tonight because of my haircut. I've got to try and find 2 hours. Right, we have hit the target, so thank you for hitting that thumbs up. We're going to get into the Riff of the Week. And thank you, EMP, who's donated $20 and says, "You're breathtaking." So thank you for that. And, or I'm not taking enough breaths. That's generally what happens when I do the live streams, that I talk for a very long time and don't breathe very much between what I'm saying. But anyway, let's get into, we're going to have to be quick into this Phil Jam. Click on that, number 29, and it started an advert, so I'll let that play through while we grab the guitar. And, actually, what's going on here? I've muted that, so you guys don't hear the advert, and I'm hoping it's not going to be another one of those that we have to sit through. It is, so we've got another 5 seconds and unmute. Okay, we've got a bit of a click track coming in. Right, so let me get that down there. I need to go, I'm trying to refresh the comments so that I can see what's going on and adjust the seat. I think we're in our upmost position. And right, this is country honky tonk guitar backing track in G. And this is from Jam Tracks channel, and that's all one word. So if you guys want to check it out, then you can do. And yes, certainly country on honky tonk. Not really a genre I play, but we're going to give it a go, as we always do. And yeah, as for levels, who knows what's going to happen. Make sure my mouse is actually working. Okay, I can hear it, which is good. Chair is up. as you can hear on my high E string, I need to change my strings because they've done one too many fill jams. I'm going a little bit flat, which means I have to bend the string as I go up. You know, I have to bend the string up to get it in tune. Anyway, yeah, I'll deal with it. Okay, I think it's just going to be the same thing over and 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 over again for 9 minutes. So yeah, let's see how long we've been going for. Yes, we've been going 5 minutes. The problem is that we've got this. And then we're starting again. So yeah, this is it. A good thing just to kind of practice along to. If you're just practicing your changes, maybe a bit of rhythm as well. But yeah, just it's because the turnaround is so fast, like here. And again. So we're not kind of spending a lot of time on the C. We're going straight up to the D. So we're not really spending long enough here, or not really spending any time on the D. This means you don't really get to play around too much, because before you know it, yeah, we're back to the G. So anyway, I mean, we did play along for quite a long time. Oh, we've only got 30 seconds. There we have it, and it just ended. I thought there might be some kind of fade out or something going on, but I could see it was almost the end of the video, so we ended with the classic. Anyway, thank you guys for hitting the thumbs up and giving us our fill jam at the end of the live stream. It was a very long fill jam, considering the amount of chords going on, but a good one to practice along to if you're kind of into your country music and honky tonk guitar, and just going over that very very straightforward progression and just changing very regularly. So anyway, we're going to be calling it to a close now. A little bit of a late finish for tonight's live stream, but we did make it to the lights goal. And I mean, if you are watching this in the future, you can still hit that thumbs up. It really does help this channel to get out there and for the channel to grow on the whole. But just before we do finish, let me quickly jump into the PayPal window. Liz donated £1 and said, "Chat is frozen. My answer is cat scratch fever." So thank you for that, Liz. And that wasn't the correct answer, but thank you for letting me know. So it must have just been the same for everybody on YouTube watching the live stream. It just froze for some reason. First time that has ever happened, but nothing to do with me. So thank you for that, Liz. And I think we are up to date with everything there. I did mention Mary's £5.23 donation. I'll just do it just in case that did slip through the net, but thank you for that, Mary, as well. Right, so we're going to be calling it to a close. Have a great rest of your week and try to stay as safe as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live, and I'll catch you guys actually tomorrow night. We have another analysis video and another live stream, of course, on Saturday night. So if you're free then, I'll see you same time, same place. But yes, have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is where you are, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!